Okay, yeah, I think we are recording right now.
Recording now.
Yes. So I can start talking about like machine learning in the area of network intrusion detection. So we will start from what is network intrusion detection system. So historically, because there were not so many like networking events happening a few decades ago, people just hire someone to sit there in front of the computer monitor to manually overlook the audit data. So if they discovered a attack going on, they will report it, and oftentimes it's not very efficient, and oftentimes because there is not like constantly people sitting there looking at it, so a lot of time people just overlook, like ignored a lot of the warnings, and when the attack actually happens, no one is there to report. So it's not a very efficient system. And then over the time, with the events of networking becoming more and more popular, people invent like automatic detection system that basically just set a series of rules to identify what is a threat. So there are a few ways to classify the intrusion detection system. The first one is anomaly-based versus misuse-based. Basically, anomaly-based intrusion detection means that we define what is a normal activity, and whatever is out of that normal activity would be labeled as abnormal. And for misuse-based detection, basically we define like the opposite, which is whatever is a threat. So they have their advantages and disadvantages. So for anomaly-based detection, it can have like very high false positive rate. Like there can be some abnormal activity that is actually not an attack. So on the opposite side of that is for use-based detection, there are often like it can often miss points. Like it often cannot detect an attack that is maybe just slightly different from the already set rules. So the other kind of classification is host-oriented versus network-oriented. Host-oriented detection mainly look at the one machine by a time, like overlooking like only one computer, for example. And for network-oriented, the detection system look at the whole network as a whole, and there are two of them may have like different data to look at. In terms of the methods, we have like statistic-based and knowledge-based and machine learning-based detection system. So for most of the machine learning-based system, it's the data flow is like this. First, we read the features from the environment. So whatever audit data, like packets, like connections, whatever the environment data is in there, we take it in, and then we do some pre-processing, and then we train the model. And after we have the model, we would do the detection, and whatever, whenever like an attack happens, we will have an intrusion report. And there are three types of like features, main types of features like to look at in this process. Like the first one is basic features for individual TCP connection. That is, for each TCP connection, we would want to know the length of the connection, the type of protocol, the network service on the destination, the number of data bytes transmitted between the source and destination, and also some error status. And for the contents features within a connection, that is, we want to know if a root shell is obtained, and we want to know like the number of failed login attempts. We might also want to know the number of files created in this process. And the third classification is the traffic features within a certain time window, usually just a few seconds. So we probably want to know like the percentage of connections that have a rejection error or another like SYN error. So with all these features, we can like maybe you want to do some pre-processing, and then we feed it into a model. We do the model training, and then we save the model after like of course like after testing and validation, we save the model, and later we put it into when we put it into real use, we have all this audit data again, and we take this data and we process it with the saved model, and we have a classification score, either a probability or just the classification says whether the current activities is an attack. Okay, so there are advantages with machine learning methods in detecting intrusion detection system. Like some algorithm can catch intrusion-based raw audit data. So that means we don't really need much pre-processing, and we don't need a lot of like expert knowledge to know like which feature is a must, or which feature will be used in this process. But we allow the algorithm to select the feature it wants. So it requires less effort to tune the IDS. And another advantage is that it can detect attacks that has never been seen before. So as I mentioned before, like it doesn't have to be like the attack doesn't have to be like recorded before, because it's not a set of rules that defines the attack. It's more like whatever is out of the abnormality of the activities will be defined as an attack. So the disadvantages is that it can often have a high positive rate, that that an abnormal activity is not necessary threat to the system. So also it's usually expensive. Like you requires a lot of training resources, like either time or machines to train the model. That's a common disadvantage for all the machine learning models in all fields. And a third disadvantage is that it can be a black box, because you don't know like what the model actually does to your data. So you kind of just let it figure it out itself. So you cannot reason why it tells you it's a threat. So for all these kind of reasons, like machine learning is only like not used in all cases of intrusion detection system. It's only used partially. It's more like a combination of different algorithms, including like expert, like preset rules, knowledge-based and machine learning-based, all these kind of different methods working together to build a detection system right now. Yeah, so that's pretty much my presentation.
Okay.
What question do you have?
So the NIDS means that it's a system to prevent hackers
Yes.
to hack your system through the internet.
Yes. Yes. It
Okay.
either prevents or it can report like
Okay.
real time.
So kind of confusing. So what kind of the input data? What does it look like? The
So
input
the
data
input data is the features.
features, like you mean like HTML body or IP or content of the request?
Uh,
Like, can you go to page 3?
yeah.
So it says that it takes the environment as the input data. I don't know.
Yeah, the environment contains like all the features listed here. You know, like whenever you log into a computer, there will be some kind of record in it.
Oh,
And whenever you build a connection with another website, there will be recorded in the audit data.
so someone already designed the algorithm. Someone else already designed the algorithm, right? The machine learning, the algorithm that can extract those features out.
Yeah, the algorithm extracts the feature.
And then you train the model.
Yeah, it's more like
Right.
for example, every time you build a connection with a website, right? It will be recorded saying that you build a connection with someone, and every few seconds, it would sum up all the connection you have made within the past few seconds, and all the information about them, and it basically process them into a form like thing, you know, like there are for machine learning algorithms, they just taking a list of features, like a list of numbers, each representing one characteristic of the events.
So this is actually is it popular in um nowadays? Is it popular?
You mean machine learning in
Yeah. Use machine learning to prevent
Yeah, I think
cheating.
it's pretty popular. It's
Oh,
pretty popular, yeah.
okay.
But since it requires like a lot of training and stuff, so not all of the system, like I should say, not all of the rules are based on like machine learning algorithm.
Oh,
Like, so we still use like the previous methods, like statistic methods, or just set the rules. Like, there are certain type of attack that are just, you know, like very obvious and simple steps, right? We don't need a machine learning to do that. We can just set,
yeah.
if you do the first and second and third, then it's an attack, right? So yeah, those don't need machine learning, but machine learning is more for anomaly based. So it's more for whatever attack that is triggers events that out of the normal behavior. That attack may not have been seen before, but it can be detected by machine learning.
And after it detects the intrusion, and then the system will just report to you, and then you decide whether or not whether to block the IP or not.
Yeah, you can do that. That's another topic then. That's like a firewall or something. Like you can use the result of the detection system to make decisions on what you should do, right?
Yeah. Okay. No more questions.
Okay. How long?
Yeah.
How long did we do that? Not sure.
Yeah, I think
Probably 20 minutes.
it's already 20 minutes.
I'm not sure.
Um, I think it'll be okay
Yeah,
we
yeah,
schedule 20 minutes.
yeah. Um, Okay, I'll pause the recording for now.
Yeah.